Hezbollah.com.
Welcome to Daily News Brief, your clear, concise look at today's top headlines. If you find this update helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a story that matters.
Hezbollah cautioned that Lebanon would face dire consequences if the government attempted to dismantle the group.
The Lebanese government aims to control weapons in accordance with a United States-backed plan.
This plan follows Israel's military campaign against Hezbollah, which was founded with support from Iran.
Hezbollah is resisting pressure to disarm until Israel ceases its strikes and occupation of southern Lebanon.
Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem stated that Lebanon would face severe consequences if the government tried to confront or eliminate the group.
Israel has inflicted significant damage on Hezbollah in recent years, targeting its leadership and fighters.
Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam characterized Qassem's statements as an implicit threat of civil war.
Salam emphasized that no group in Lebanon has the right to bear arms outside the authority of the Lebanese state.
The Lebanese cabinet recently instructed the army to restrict weapons to state security forces.
Qassem accused the government of carrying out an American and Israeli directive to eliminate Hezbollah.
He suggested that this directive could lead to civil war and internal conflict.
Hezbollah and its ally, the Amal movement, have opted to postpone street protests while talks are still possible.
Qassem indicated that there is still room for discussion and a political resolution.
However, he warned of widespread protests if the government's actions escalate to confrontation.
The conflict between Hezbollah and Israel began in 2023, when Hezbollah attacked Israeli positions.
Hezbollah and Amal still maintain political influence in Lebanon.
While some budget airlines face challenges, Allegiant Air is expanding its service across the United States by adding 5 new routes.
The company announced on Tuesday, August 12, that it is increasing its number of daily routes and adding a new airport to its network.
Allegiant will begin servicing Huntsville, Alabama, with 3 new flights to destinations in Florida.
These flights will operate out of Huntsville International Airport, which also serves American, Delta, and United Airlines.
All 5 of Allegiant's new routes involve destinations in Florida, a popular state for domestic tourism.
The flights from Huntsville will go to Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, St. Pete Clearwater, or Orlando Sanford Airport.
Allegiant is also adding new routes from Appleton International Airport in Wisconsin and Frederick Douglass Greater Rochester International Airport in New York.
These routes will take passengers from Appleton, Wisconsin to the Orlando area, and from New York to Sarasota, Florida.
This expansion follows recent growth for the Las Vegas-based airline, which also added 7 new routes in late July.
6 of those routes also involve destinations in the state of Florida.
Tickets for Allegiant's new routes are currently available for purchase.
However, service on these routes will not begin until late 2025.
The new routes will be rolled out between November 2025 and March 2026.
This expansion demonstrates Allegiant's commitment to growth in the competitive budget airline market.
Travelers seeking affordable flights to Florida destinations will now have more options.
This continued expansion could position Allegiant for greater success in the coming years.
A hiker in Tennessee tragically died after being bitten by a venomous snake at Savage Gulf State Park.
Officials believe the hiker made a fatal mistake by picking up the snake, likely a timber rattlesnake.
First responders arrived at the scene around 12:30 p.m. last Friday, finding the hiker only half a mile down a trailhead.
Despite life-saving efforts, the hiker was transported to a local hospital but sadly succumbed to his injuries.
Timber rattlesnakes are a highly venomous species found in the eastern United States.
Witnesses reported seeing the hiker pick up the snake, resulting in a bite on his hand.
While the official cause of death is pending, it is believed to be related to an allergic reaction.
The Grundy County Emergency Management Agency extends their thoughts and prayers to the hiker's family.
It is strongly recommended to carry first aid supplies and be aware of potential wildlife dangers during outdoor activities.
If you encounter a snake, it is crucial to remain calm and avoid handling it.
Timber rattlesnakes are considered the largest and most dangerous of the 4 venomous snakes in Tennessee.
They can grow up to 5 feet long and possess a distinctive triangular head, vertical pupils, and a rattle on their tail.
While rattlesnake bites can be serious, they are rarely fatal, with less than 1 in 600 resulting in death.
Timber rattlesnakes are generally docile and primarily prey on small rodents.
They often remain motionless when encountered in the wild.
This incident serves as a reminder to respect wildlife and prioritize safety in natural settings.
3 individuals are accused of aiding Austin Robert Drummond, the suspect, in a quadruple homicide in Tennessee.
They allegedly provided him with shelter, phones, and transportation while he evaded law enforcement.
Drummond appeared in court via video feed and pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder.
The victims were the parents, grandmother, and uncle of an infant found abandoned in a yard.
Prosecutors intend to pursue the death penalty if Drummond is convicted.
2 alleged accomplices, Tanaka Brown and Dira Sanders, also appeared in court via video and pleaded not guilty.
A third accomplice, Giovante Thomas, did not appear in court on Thursday.
It is unclear whether Thomas has entered a plea.
A preliminary hearing for Drummond is scheduled for September 4th.
Preliminary hearings for Brown and Sanders are scheduled for September 12th.
The district attorney stated that the accomplices are suspected of providing Drummond with various forms of assistance.
This assistance included phones, clothing, shelter, and transportation.
The motive for the killings has not been disclosed.
Drummond has requested a speedy trial, but it could take a year or more.
The district attorney described the case as a serious matter with a significant amount of evidence to process.
The killings and subsequent search created anxiety in the rural communities of West Tennessee.
Jeffrey Epstein died under mysterious circumstances 6 years ago, and the National Enquirer has discovered 22 people connected to him have also died under questionable circumstances.
These deaths range from alleged victims and house managers to lawyers, accountants, investigative journalists, and even pimps, suggesting a potential cover-up.
Private investigator Ed Opperman suggests these deaths are connected through a trail of money.
Financier Stephen Hoffenberg, before his death in 2022, claimed Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were creating compromising videos of influential people with underage girls.
Hoffenberg also spoke about Epstein's alleged connections to Mossad, Israel's national intelligence agency.
While Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking, Epstein was found hanged in his jail cell in 2019, a death officially ruled a suicide but considered murder by his brother.
Epstein's final cellmate, Efrain Reyes, died of COVID-19 in 2020, shortly after speaking with investigators about Epstein's death.
3 of Epstein's accusers have also died: Virginia Giuffre, Carolyn Andriano, and Lee Sky Patrick.
These deaths are not the only ones connected to Epstein's time in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he was accused of abusing young girls.
Despite the evidence against him, Epstein received a lenient plea deal in 2008.
Joe Recarey, the detective who led the Epstein investigation, died in 2018.
Epstein's former butler, Alfredo Rodriguez, who stole his black book, died in 2014.
2 lawyers involved in Epstein's West Palm Beach case, Kenneth Starr and Roy Black, have also died.
Other figures linked to the Epstein case who have died include Marvin Minsky, Ronald Eppinger Sr., John Connolly, and Wendy Lee.
Several other Epstein associates have died under unusual circumstances, including Jean-Luc Brunel, Steve Bing, Mark Middleton, and Thomas Bowers.
Former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson and physicist Stephen Hawking, who visited Epstein's island, have also passed away.
A recent analysis suggests Oregon is the 4th worst state to move to in 2025.
This is a significant drop from its 2024 ranking as the 7th worst state for relocation.
The analysis, conducted by Consumer Affairs, considered factors like affordability, safety, and economic strength.
Oregon received poor scores in affordability, ranking as the 3rd worst state in this category.
It also ranked poorly in safety, coming in as the 9th worst state.
In contrast, Washington state fared much better, ranking as the 35th best state to move to.
Consumer Affairs noted that Washington outperformed Oregon in affordability, economic strength, healthcare, and education.
However, both states continue to face challenges related to crime and climate risks.
Oregon is particularly vulnerable to environmental hazards like drought and wildfires.
These factors contribute to the challenges Oregon faces in attracting and retaining residents.
The states ranking worse than Oregon for relocation are California, Louisiana, and New Mexico.
The top-ranked states for those considering a move are Utah, New Hampshire, Idaho, and Virginia.
This analysis provides valuable insights for individuals planning a move in the near future.
It highlights the importance of considering various factors beyond just location.
Potential movers should carefully weigh the pros and cons of each state before making a decision.
This report offers a helpful starting point for that research and consideration process.
The average rate on a 30-year United States mortgage dropped this week to its lowest point since October.
This decrease offers potential homebuyers increased purchasing power, which could revitalize the stagnant housing market.
The long-term rate fell to 6.58% from 6.63% last week, according to mortgage buyer Freddie Mac.
1 year ago, the average rate was 6.49%.
Rates on 15-year fixed-rate mortgages, often used for refinancing, also decreased.
The average rate for these loans fell to 5.71% from 5.75% last week.
1 year ago, this rate was 5.66%.
High mortgage rates have contributed to a downturn in the United States housing market since early 2022.
This marks the fourth consecutive week of declining rates.
The current average rate on a 30-year mortgage is at its lowest since October 24th.
Several factors influence mortgage rates, including the Federal Reserve interest rate policy.
Bond market investors' expectations for the economy and inflation also play a role.
A key indicator is the 10-year Treasury yield, which guides lenders in pricing home loans.
This yield was at 4.29% midday Thursday, slightly up from 4.24% the previous day.
Weaker than expected July United States job market data has fueled speculation of a Federal Reserve rate cut next month.
While a rate cut could stimulate the job market and economy, it also carries the risk of increasing inflation.
Newly released police documents suggest Bryan Kohberger spoke Kaylee Goncalves, named during the murders.
He allegedly killed her and 3 other college students in their off-campus apartment.
A surviving roommate provided testimony to detectives about the night of the murders.
This roommate reported hearing Kaylee Goncalves' name spoken.
She then saw a masked intruder standing in the kitchen area of the apartment.
The details of this case continue to unfold as more information becomes available.
The surviving roommate's account provides chilling new details to the investigation.
These documents offer further insight into the events of that tragic night.
The alleged utterance of the victim's name adds a disturbing layer to the case.
Investigators are continuing to piece together the sequence of events.
The release of these documents marks a significant development in the ongoing investigation.
The information contained within them is crucial for understanding the crimes.
Authorities are meticulously examining all available evidence to build their case.
The families of the victims seek justice and answers in this heartbreaking situation.
The community remains deeply affected by the loss of these young lives.
The legal process will continue to unfold as the case progresses.
The American Heart Association and American College of Cardiology released new guidelines to minimize hypertension.
These are the first updated guidelines for clinicians since 2017.
The guidelines recommend limiting alcohol consumption for better blood pressure management.
While abstaining from alcohol is ideal, men should have no more than 2 drinks per day.
Women should limit their intake to a maximum of 1 drink daily.
A recent report indicates that both systolic and diastolic blood pressure rise with increased alcohol intake.
The report also shows that avoiding alcohol leads to the lowest hypertension risk.
Reducing alcohol consumption by half also results in healthier blood pressure levels.
The updated guidelines now recommend treatment for stage 1 hypertension.
Previously, only stage 2 hypertension warranted treatment beyond lifestyle changes.
The 2017 guidelines suggested lifestyle changes and medication for systolic blood pressure of 140 millimeters of mercury or higher.
Now, clinicians should recommend lifestyle changes for those in the 130 to 139 millimeters of mercury range.
The guidelines also emphasize reducing sodium intake to minimize hypertension.
The recommended daily sodium intake is 2,300 milligrams, with an ideal target of 1,500 milligrams.
Most adults consume excess sodium from packaged and restaurant foods, not from added table salt.
The guidelines encourage checking sodium content in food and using potassium-enriched salt substitutes.
The Trump administration may escalate its budget dispute with Congress this week by permanently withholding some federal funds.
This tactic, known as a pocket rescission, allows the executive branch to cancel congressionally approved funding without a vote.
The affected funding is set to expire at the end of the fiscal year on September 30th.
The White House may announce its decision regarding the remaining unallocated funds as early as Friday.
It is uncertain how Congress will react to this potential challenge to its constitutional authority over spending.
So far, Republicans controlling both the House of Representatives and the Senate have largely supported the administration's unilateral spending freezes.
Several funding programs have experienced months-long delays, with minimal Republican opposition.
The Government Accountability Office, an independent congressional watchdog, determined that $100 million in federal library funding was unlawfully withheld since March.
Funding for various programs, including a Montana children's paleontology program, has been frozen.
Other affected areas include copyright and artificial intelligence research, and librarian training programs initiated by former First Lady Laura Bush.
Congress has the authority to review these funding cuts in committee hearings and vote on the provision.
Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski have voiced objections to the administration's actions.
Sam Helmick, president of the American Library Association, expressed a desire for more information from his Republican colleagues on this issue.
Some Republicans have previously urged the administration to release other frozen funds, including $6 billion in education funds and National Institutes of Health research funding.
Democrats assert the administration has withheld over $420 billion in bipartisan-approved funding.
Law professor Matthew Lawrence argues that these delays are unprecedented in modern times and reduce government accountability.
A recent Reddit post highlighted surprisingly high prices for trinkets at a Goodwill store.
The original poster expressed frustration with these inflated prices, accompanied by pictures of the items.
Thrifting has become increasingly popular, especially among younger generations.
They see thrift stores as a source of affordable, quality items that promote sustainability.
The Trump administration's tariffs on imported goods further boosted the appeal of secondhand shopping.
Rising prices on imported clothing from major retailers have driven consumers to seek budget-friendly alternatives.
ThredUp, a significant secondhand clothing retailer, projects substantial growth in the secondhand market.
They predict it will reach $73 billion domestically and $350 billion globally by 2028.
This growth is generally positive for thrift stores, which often compete with fast fashion.
Fast fashion contributes significantly to global pollution and landfill waste due to its low quality and short-lived trends.
Thrift stores, by reselling durable clothing, reduce the need for frequent wardrobe replacements.
This contributes significantly to environmental protection.
This particular Goodwill store might be taking advantage of the increased reliance on secondhand goods.
While these prices are atypical for thrift stores, they still triggered outrage among shoppers.
The attraction of thrift stores has always been their affordability and support for the circular economy.
These inflated prices contradict that principle.
One commenter expressed relief that their local Goodwill stores have not implemented similar price increases.
Another commenter questioned who would purchase items at such prices.
Former President Donald Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and photographs of the meeting revealed swelling in President Trump's ankles.
This renewed concerns about President Trump's health, particularly because the White House had recently disclosed his diagnosis of chronic venous insufficiency.
Chronic venous insufficiency is a condition affecting blood circulation in the veins, and it is common in people over the age of 70.
Although it is not typically life-threatening, the condition can become more serious with age and may be aggravated by an unhealthy diet.
Before the summit, reporters questioned White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about President Trump's health.
Leavitt stated that the president was active and working, and that no changes had been made to his routine.
However, after the photos emerged, a spokeswoman declined to provide further comment on President Trump's health.
The White House also avoided committing to making President Trump's physician available for questions.
This meeting with President Putin was crucial for President Trump, who had pledged to end the war in Ukraine early in his presidency.
President Trump's frustration with President Putin had grown over time due to President Putin's reluctance to agree to a ceasefire.
The meeting lasted 3 hours and included Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff on the American side.
The Russian delegation consisted of Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Foreign Policy Advisor Yuri Ushakov, accompanying President Putin.
The summit aimed to achieve a breakthrough in the conflict.
However, it remains uncertain what, if any, progress was made toward a peace agreement, considering President Putin's stance on Ukraine.
President Putin's persistent refusal to negotiate a ceasefire remains a significant obstacle to peace.
The meeting took place at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska.
Former United States President Donald Trump stated that Russian President Vladimir Putin concurred with his view on mail-in voting.
Trump conveyed to Fox News Channel that Putin believes mail-in voting jeopardizes election integrity.
This conversation occurred after a lengthy meeting between the two leaders in Alaska.
Trump has consistently promoted the unsubstantiated claim that he won the 2020 election against Joe Biden.
He has used this purported agreement with Putin to urge fellow Republicans to overhaul the United States voting system.
Interestingly, Trump himself has voted by mail in past elections and even encouraged his supporters to do so in 2024.
Putin, who has held power in Russia for an extended period, secured another term in 2024 with a significant majority.
However, this election faced allegations of manipulation from various sources, including independent observers, opposition figures, and Western governments.
The Russian embassy in Washington has not yet commented on this reported conversation between the two presidents.
Putin has previously, without providing evidence, suggested that some United States elections were affected by fraudulent voting.
Investigations by the United States Justice Department and Senate revealed Russian attempts to influence the 2016 election in Trump's favor.
United States intelligence officials also believe Russia attempted similar interference in the 2020 and 2024 elections.
Trump and his associates have consistently denied any collusion with Russia.
Trump has expressed frustration with Republicans for not prioritizing election reform legislation.
He maintains that mail-in voting is incompatible with a strong democracy.
Some Republicans share Trump's concerns, arguing that restrictions on absentee voting and voter identification requirements could reduce fraud.
Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell declined an offer from his former employee, Steve Jobs, to purchase one-third of Apple for $50,000 in the 1970s.
With Apple currently valued at $3.1 trillion, Bushnell missed a substantial financial opportunity.
This missed investment could have been worth approximately $1 trillion today.
However, Bushnell does not express regret, believing his life, and possibly Apple's success, might have been different had he accepted.
Many people regret missed investment opportunities, but few compare to Bushnell's.
Jobs, as a young entrepreneur, presented Bushnell with the offer to buy a third of Apple.
Surprisingly, Bushnell declined the offer.
Apple has become a $3.1 trillion company, with a vast user base of iPhone and Mac users.
Had Bushnell accepted the deal, his share would now be worth approximately $1 trillion.
Bushnell, however, is not dwelling on the lost opportunity.
He first recognized Jobs' potential in the 1970s, when Jobs worked at Atari as a technician and game designer.
Bushnell recalled Jobs as a skilled problem solver and engineer, but also noted his challenging personality.
He strategically scheduled Jobs for night shifts, knowing Steve Wozniak would join him.
Jobs often criticized other employees to Bushnell, highlighting his leadership tendencies.
Bushnell acknowledged Jobs as brilliant but also difficult.
Despite the missed opportunity, Bushnell expresses contentment with his life.
Apple appears to have unintentionally revealed details about upcoming hardware through internal identifiers found in publicly available software code.
These disclosures, initially reported by Mac Rumors, hint at next-generation chips for various Apple product lines, including the iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, and Vision Pro.
Apple software often contains device strings, code names, and chip references that emerge before the hardware release, often confirming product families and classes.
These identifiers suggest Apple is planning silicon upgrades across its product lineup, performance enhancements for Apple Television, a Vision Pro update, and a higher-end studio display.
It is important to note that while this information comes from Apple software code, the company has not officially announced these products.
Therefore, specifications, features, and timelines are subject to change before the official release.
A next-generation HomePod Mini, codenamed B525, is expected, featuring the T8310 microarchitecture, the same core architecture used in the latest Apple Watches.
This represents a significant upgrade from the current S5-based model, and may include Wi-Fi 6E and new colors.
An Apple Television refresh is anticipated later this year, featuring the A17 Pro chip, the same chip that powers the iPhone 15 Pro.
This upgrade should improve performance, Apple Intelligence support, and enable more advanced gaming and artificial intelligence features.
Code references suggest a next-generation studio display, possibly with a mini LED backlight, is under development, potentially launching in early 2026, alongside Macs with the M5 chip.
The next iPad mini is linked to the A19 Pro chip, the same chip family intended for the iPhone 17 Pro. A significant upgrade from the current mini.
Apple is also working on a new low-cost iPad with the A18 chip, which is expected to include a 16-core neural engine and Apple Intelligence support.
Code strings link the second-generation Vision Pro to the M5 chip, suggesting a substantial performance boost while maintaining a similar design.
The Apple Watch Series 11, Ultra 3, and Watch SE 3 are linked to the S11 system and package, maintaining the T8310 architecture used in S9 and S10.
This suggests minor updates for this cycle, with more significant changes expected with the S12 in 2026.
President Trump debriefed European leaders and President Zelensky after his meeting with the Russian president in Alaska.
The leaders welcomed President Trump's efforts to stop the violence in Ukraine and achieve a just and lasting peace.
Further talks are necessary and should include President Zelensky.
European leaders are prepared to work with President Trump and President Zelensky towards a trilateral summit.
Ukraine must have strong security guarantees to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity.
The United States is prepared to offer security guarantees to Ukraine.
There should be no limitations on Ukraine's armed forces or cooperation with other countries.
Russia should not have veto power over Ukraine's path to the European Union and North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Ukraine will make its own decisions regarding its territory.
International borders should not be changed by force.
Continued support will be provided to Ukraine.
More will be done to keep Ukraine strong and achieve a lasting peace.
Pressure will be maintained on Russia as long as the conflict in Ukraine persists.
Sanctions and economic measures against Russia will continue until a just and lasting peace is achieved.
Ukraine has unwavering support in working towards peace that protects its security interests.
This peace must also safeguard Europe's vital security interests.
Thomas Noguchi, who performed Marilyn Monroe's autopsy, is breaking his silence after 63 years.
He reveals he never agreed with the suicide ruling and was prevented from investigating a potential murder.
Noguchi, now 98, shares his account in a new book by Ann Soon Choi.
The book, L.A. Coroner, Thomas Noguchi and Death in Hollywood, details the behind-the-scenes events of Monroe's death in 1962.
Noguchi admits the autopsy was not properly performed, and evidence went missing.
He also states he disagreed with the official ruling of suicide.
He was prohibited from further investigating the lack of visual evidence of pills in her stomach and intestines, despite bottles of sedatives found near her body.
Monroe was rumored to be pregnant with President Kennedy's child and had threatened to reveal her abortion after he ended their relationship.
Noguchi became suspicious when he requested further testing of Monroe's stomach contents and organs.
He discovered that the head toxicologist had disposed of them after the coroner's report was issued.
Without a complete analysis, it was impossible to determine if Monroe died by injection instead of ingesting pills.
Noguchi feared being held responsible if the autopsy was deemed inadequate.
He was a young probationary coroner at the time, only 35 years old.
It was unusual for him to be assigned such a high-profile case instead of the chief coroner.
Noguchi questioned why the chief coroner passed on the opportunity.
He also wondered if Monroe was murdered and if he was involved in a cover-up.
2 Minnesota fishermen located a submerged car in the Mississippi River using sonar technology.
Authorities believe this discovery may be connected to a decades-old cold case.
One of the fishermen, Brody Locke, reported seeing the car on his sonar device.
Divers subsequently located the vehicle and discovered human remains inside.
The Stearns County Sheriff expressed concern that the car, a 1960s Buick, might disintegrate upon retrieval.
However, the vehicle was recovered relatively intact.
Investigators matched the car's vehicle identification number to Roy Ben, a man who disappeared in September 1967.
Ben was last seen driving a 1963 metallic blue Buick Electra.
Based on the remains, items in the car, and the vehicle identification number, authorities believe it is Mr. Ben.
Ben was reportedly carrying a large sum of money when he disappeared.
He was a businessman and owned the St. Cloud Appliance Repair Service.
His wife had passed away the year before his disappearance.
Ben's brother, Walter, assisted law enforcement in the initial investigation.
The Benton County Sheriff's Office has pursued leads over the years, but none were conclusive.
Roy Ben was declared legally dead in 1975.
The remains found in the Buick have been sent to a medical examiner for further analysis.
Mortgage rates have fallen this week, offering potential homebuyers a slightly better entry point.
Freddie Mac reports the national average for a 30-year fixed mortgage is down to 6.58%.
The 15-year fixed mortgage rate has also decreased to 5.71%.
While experts do not anticipate rates falling below 6% this year, these are the lowest rates observed since October 2024.
If you are considering purchasing a home in 2025, now might be an opportune time to secure a mortgage.
Choosing a lender that offers a rate buy-down option is recommended.
This allows you to relock your interest rate if market rates decline before you finalize the purchase.
Zillow data provides current mortgage rates, including a 30-year fixed rate at 6.47% and a 20-year fixed rate at 5.98%.
The 15-year fixed rate is currently at 5.63%.
Zillow also provides data on adjustable rate mortgages and Veterans Affairs and Federal Housing Administration loans.
These are national averages and rounded to the nearest hundredth.
Current refinance rates according to Zillow are also available, with the 30-year fixed rate at 6.52% and the 15-year fixed rate at 5.78%.
Remember that refinance rates are typically, but not always, higher than purchase rates.
Your mortgage interest rate significantly affects your monthly payment.
A mortgage calculator can help you understand how the loan amount, interest rate, and loan term impact your payments.
There are two main types of mortgage rates: fixed and adjustable.
A fixed-rate mortgage maintains the same interest rate throughout the loan term.
An adjustable rate mortgage has an initial fixed rate period, after which the rate fluctuates periodically based on market conditions.
The Hubble Space Telescope has taken the clearest pictures yet of interstellar object 3I ATLAS.
This provides new information about this icy visitor from another star system.
Astronomers are excited about the third interstellar object discovered passing through our solar system.
They want to learn as much as possible about 3I ATLAS before it leaves our solar system forever.
More powerful telescopes are being aimed at 3I ATLAS to gather data.
Ground-based observatories have provided images allowing researchers to make educated guesses about its nature and size.
On July 21st, astronomers got their first look at 3I ATLAS using the Hubble Space Telescope.
Even Hubble cannot see the solid nucleus of the comet because it is currently surrounded by a cloud of dust, ice, and gas called its coma.
However, these observations help astronomers better estimate the size of this alien object by comparing it to the behavior of comets from our solar system.
Initial estimates based on its brightness from ground observatories suggested the nucleus was 10 to 20 kilometers in diameter.
New data from Hubble significantly reduced that estimate, putting an upper limit on the comet size at 5.6 kilometers wide.
This is still much larger than 2I Borisov and 1I Oumuamua, which were estimated to be about 500 meters and 100 meters wide, respectively.
Researchers believe 3I ATLAS nucleus could be as small as 320 meters across.
The Hubble image also confirms 3I ATLAS's cometary nature, revealing more detail.
The solid nucleus is located within the bright region on the left side of the fuzzy teardrop shape.
The diffuse region on the right appears to be a plume of dust ejected as sunlight warms the nucleus surface.
President Trump commemorated Social Security's 90th anniversary and highlighted tax law changes benefiting seniors.
He emphasized his commitment to protecting Social Security and prioritizing the well-being of American workers and families.
President Trump touted his tax law as providing the largest tax break for seniors in United States history.
He also praised his administration's efforts to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse within the system.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act offers a temporary $6,000 tax deduction for individuals 65 and older.
However, some experts believe this deduction primarily benefits the upper middle class rather than lower-income individuals.
President Trump expressed confidence in the future of Social Security and highlighted efforts to address fraud involving illegal aliens.
Analysis from the administration's chief actuary suggests the recent tax and spending bill could accelerate the insolvency of Social Security trust funds.
The Office of the Chief Actuary projects depletion of combined trust funds by the first quarter of 2034.
This is an acceleration from the previous projection of the third quarter of 2034.
The administration's plans to reduce the Social Security Administration workforce and eliminate fraud have drawn public attention.
Social Security Administration Commissioner Frank Bisignano emphasized the agency's transition to a digital-first approach.
The goal is for 200 million Americans to have digital Social Security accounts by the end of next year.
Commissioner Bisignano expressed a strong commitment to achieving this goal and improving the Social Security Administration.
He pledged to make the Social Security Administration a great digital-first agency.
He also stated his deep commitment to this goal, mirroring the president's commitment to making the world a better place.
Over 100 female inmates at a Colorado jail had their strip search videos allegedly viewed by a former commander.
3 of these women have filed a federal class action lawsuit against the former commander, Edward Aber, and government agencies.
The lawsuit claims La Plata County and its sheriff office failed to monitor access to the sensitive footage.
They also allege that the county knew of Aber having prior accusations of sexual impropriety and harassment.
Aber is facing criminal prosecution for allegedly watching the videos of at least 117 female inmates over 5 years.
He often viewed these videos weeks or months after they were recorded during the jail intake process.
Strip searches at the jail are conducted by female deputies and recorded on body cameras to check for contraband.
Aber is charged with official misconduct and 117 counts of invasion of privacy.
The lawsuit seeks to include all women whose videos were allegedly viewed by Aber.
Investigators found Aber accessed body camera footage over 3,000 times, mostly strip searches, without legitimate reason.
He sometimes accessed the videos from home or hotels, often late at night or early in the morning.
The lawsuit alleges violation of the women's constitutional rights, including privacy and protection against unreasonable searches.
One of the attorneys acknowledged the need for strip searches in jails, but suggested limits on viewing the videos.
Such limits could be tied to the discovery of contraband or inmate complaints of mistreatment.
Unrestricted access can erode trust in the criminal justice system.
The lawyer emphasized that such incidents damage public faith in the system.
A new Chipotle Mexican grill franchise is opening in Pekin, Illinois this fall.
The new restaurant is slated to open in late September at 3440 Court Street, the former location of a Bob Evans.
This Chipotle will be situated next to a Starbucks and near the expanding East Court Village shopping center.
Pekin Area Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Amy McCoy expressed enthusiasm about the new business coming to Pekin.
She noted that it brings more jobs and choices for residents and visitors.
Chipotle has over 3,800 locations globally, ranking it among the top 20 fast food franchises worldwide.
There are almost 200 Chipotle locations in Illinois, including 2 others in the Peoria area.
The Pekin location will include a Chipotlane, a drive-through for picking up digital orders.
Chipotle spokesperson Mohit Patel stated that they seek communities where they can serve responsibly sourced food.
He believes Pekin is a good fit for their brand and its values.
The new restaurant is currently hiring and offers various benefits to its employees.
These benefits include medical, dental, and health insurance, as well as tuition assistance.
Patel mentioned that Chipotle offers up to $250 a year in tuition assistance.
This new location is expected to contribute to Pekin's continued growth and development.
The addition of Chipotle provides another dining option for residents and attracts visitors to the community.
The opening of this franchise represents a significant investment in the Pekin area.
Honda is reviving the Acura RSX, a nameplate discontinued almost 2 decades ago, but with a modern twist.
Instead of a sporty coupe like its predecessor, the new RSX will be an all-electric crossover.
This might disappoint some, but Acura already offers a sporty coupe in the recently updated Integra.
The RSX crossover promises exciting performance with standard dual-motor all-wheel drive.
It also features sport-tuned double wishbone front suspension and Brembo brakes.
Acura claims the strategic battery placement will provide a lower center of gravity than expected.
This should contribute to a fun and engaging driving experience, similar to the Mustang Mach-E and Hyundai Ioniq 5N.
Unlike the Honda Prologue and Acura ZDX, the RSX is entirely engineered in-house by Honda.
It will be one of the first models built on Honda's new electric vehicle platform.
The RSX will also be the first assembled at the Honda Electric Vehicle Hub in Marysville, Ohio.
Honda has ambitious plans for the RSX, incorporating advanced technology like the ASIMO operating system.
This will enable automated driving, advanced driver assistance systems, machine learning, and over-the-air updates.
Additionally, the RSX will support vehicle-to-load charging, functioning as a portable generator.
This allows it to power homes and devices in emergency situations.
The prototype shown is close to the production version, expected in the second half of 2026.
For updates and more information, visit the Acura website.
Israel's far-right national security minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, recently visited prominent jailed Palestinian leader Marwan Barghouti.
Ben-Vir shared a video of the encounter on his social media account, where he told Barghouti he would not win.
Barghouti, a potential unifying figure among Palestinians, has been jailed for over 2 decades.
Ben-Vir also stated that anyone who threatens Israel would be eliminated.
This prison visit occurred after Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich announced plans for a settlement bisecting the West Bank.
This settlement would further isolate the West Bank from East Jerusalem, which Palestinians claim as their capital.
Smotrich declared this action effectively buries the idea of a Palestinian state.
In the video, Ben-Gvir tells a visibly weakened Barghouti that anyone who harms Israelis will be eliminated.
The Palestinian Authority condemned Ben-Gvir's remarks as a direct threat to Barghouti.
Barghouti, a senior member of Fatah, was sentenced in 2004 to 5 life sentences plus 40 years.
He was convicted of orchestrating attacks on Israelis during the Second Palestinian Intifada.
Israel considers Barghouti a dangerous militant, while he denies the charges against him.
Barghouti's wife criticized the visit on social media, highlighting the continued pursuit of her husband.
Some see Barghouti as a potential successor to Mahmoud Abbas, the current Palestinian president.
A recent poll indicated Barghouti would win a presidential election against Abbas and former Hamas chief Khaled Mashal.
However, Palestinian Authority presidential elections have not been held since 2005.
In Enugu, Nigeria, fruit prices have increased by over 60% since February.
This price surge makes everyday fruits like bananas and pineapples unaffordable for many families.
Smoothie vendors have seen production costs double, leading to higher prices for consumers.
Several factors contribute to these rising costs, including earth is overheating and higher transportation expenses.
Insecurity in northern farming regions and increased export demand also play a role.
One banana vendor noted that while exporting fruit is profitable, it reduces the domestic supply.
This makes it difficult for average families to afford fruit daily.
This price increase is not just a budget concern, but a warning sign of deeper food insecurity.
Earth is overheating, disrupts growing seasons, and reduces crop yields.
Drought, flooding, and soil degradation hinder fruit production.
The removal of Nigeria's fuel subsidy has worsened transportation costs, limiting food access.
Violence in northern farming regions further exacerbates the problem.
This situation contributes to nutritional inequality as people cut out nutrient-rich foods like fruit.
One civil servant warned that this could lead to a health crisis if not addressed.
Many advocate for government investment in climate-resilient agriculture and improved security in farming areas.
Better infrastructure is also needed to reduce transport costs.
Lexi Alford circumnavigated the globe in a Ford Explorer electric vehicle, covering over 18,600 miles.
This journey spanned 27 countries and included diverse terrains like the Australian outback, Bhutanese mountains, and the Atacama Desert.
However, the Explorer's performance in everyday environments, such as city streets and country roads, is more relevant to most consumers.
This Explorer is built on Volkswagen Group's MEB electric car platform as part of a collaboration between the two companies.
Ford maintains that despite using a Volkswagen platform, the Explorer has its own distinct character.
The Explorer name is borrowed from a larger, non-electric United States market sport utility vehicle.
This naming choice might be confusing for British buyers unfamiliar with Ford's United States lineup.
The Explorer's production replaced the Ford Fiesta at Ford's Cologne plant, a decision met with some controversy.
It is important to evaluate the Explorer's merits as a car, independently of its history or name.
The Explorer has a well-resolved, boxy design with some appealing features.
It appears larger in photographs than in reality, being shorter than the Volkswagen ID.4.
The Explorer's interior is distinct from most Volkswagen Group models, featuring a large, vertically mounted touchscreen.
This 14.6-inch touchscreen is unique to Ford and runs Ford's infotainment system.
The Explorer offers single and dual motor layouts with 2 battery size options.
The extended range premium rear-wheel drive model provides a range of 354 miles.
It can charge at speeds up to 135 kilowatts, which is decent but slower than some competitors.
The premium specification is well equipped with features like 20-inch wheels, matrix light-emitting diode lights, and a panoramic roof.
The interior includes heated seats, a wireless phone charger, a rear camera, and a Bang & Olufsen sound system.
President Trump stated he would not negotiate on behalf of Ukraine in his meeting with President Putin.
He emphasized that it would be up to Ukraine to decide on any territorial swaps with Russia.
President Trump explained his goal was to facilitate negotiations between Ukraine and Russia.
He said any discussion of territorial swaps would occur during those negotiations.
President Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that he would let Ukraine make its own decisions.
He reiterated that he was not there to negotiate for Ukraine, but to get them to the negotiating table.
These remarks aim to reassure Ukraine, which is concerned about the United States and Russia talks.
Ukraine worries the talks could freeze the conflict at their expense.
President Trump suggested the Russian offensive in Ukraine might be a tactic to strengthen President Putin's negotiating position.
He believes President Putin thinks this helps him make a better deal, although it actually hurts him.
President Trump expressed optimism about his meeting with President Putin, citing the high stakes and the weakness of the Russian economy.
He acknowledged President Putin's experience and intelligence, as well as the mutual respect between them.
He also mentioned the presence of Russian business executives accompanying President Putin as a positive sign.
However, President Trump clarified that no business deals could be made until the conflict is resolved.
He stated that the desire of Russian business executives to conduct business indicated a willingness to find a resolution.
He reaffirmed that business would only be possible after the war is settled.
President Trump believes this demonstrates a desire from the Russian side to move towards peaceful resolution.
He maintains that resolving the conflict is the necessary precursor to any economic collaborations.
Major General Michael Turley, former Adjutant General of the Utah National Guard, has retired as a lieutenant colonel after an Army investigation.
The investigation confirmed that he had engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate, according to Army spokeswoman Cynthia Smith.
He will retire at the lower rank of lieutenant colonel, the last grade in which he honorably served.
The Army considers the matter closed, and no further information about the investigation is currently available.
Turley's retirement at the lower rank followed an assessment by the Army Grade Determination Review Board.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox announced in August 2023 that Turley was under investigation by the Army Inspector General's office.
At the time, Governor Cox stated they had not received a copy of the report, but had placed Turley on paid administrative leave.
USA Today reported on the same day that the investigation determined Turley had an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate soldier.
When officers are demoted, it is customary for defense officials to announce their ranks have been lowered to the last grade they served honorably.
A notable example is former Army Major General James Grazioplin, who was demoted to second lieutenant after pleading guilty to sexually abusing his daughter.
This practice is typically used when service members try to retire, and evidence of past misconduct comes to light.
Retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Rachel Van Landingham, a former military attorney, explained that such misconduct taints everything they did afterward.
Van Landingham, now a law professor, added that these demotions are rare but not unheard of.
She emphasized that the demotion results in a significant pay cut for the rest of the retired officer's life.
The Pentagon uses this action to signify that the individual does not deserve the higher rank or pay in perpetuity.
This action affirms that the individual did not honorably serve in their final capacity.
Raw sewage has flooded the emergency department of Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, Gaza.
This dire situation, according to hospital director Dr. Atef Al-Hout, stems from a leak outside the hospital compound.
The source of the leak lies within a designated red zone, an area inaccessible to Palestinian authorities.
Repairing the leak requires coordination with Israeli authorities, which can take up to 72 hours.
Dr. Al-Hout stressed the urgency of the situation, stating that the hospital cannot withstand a 72-hour delay.
He warned that the hospital is on the brink of collapse if the issue is not addressed promptly.
The flooding poses a severe threat to the hospital, its functionality, and the safety of patients and staff.
When asked about the flooding, the Israeli military claimed to be unaware of the situation.
They stated that they would investigate the matter further.
This incident comes amidst ongoing Israeli airstrikes and bombardment in Gaza, which have severely impacted the healthcare system.
The situation at Nasser Hospital highlights the challenges faced by medical facilities in conflict zones.
Access to essential services and infrastructure is often restricted or delayed, exacerbating existing vulnerabilities.
The flooding adds another layer of complexity to the already precarious healthcare situation in Gaza.
Continued conflict and restricted access to vital resources further jeopardize the well-being of the population.
The international community must prioritize ensuring access to essential services like healthcare in conflict zones.
Addressing the immediate crisis at Nasser Hospital requires swift action and cooperation from all involved parties.
Thank you for listening. Stay informed, stay aware, and join us again for more updates that matter. Until next time.
Thanks for staying informed. See you in the next episode.